Hi everyone, my name is Tami Larson and I am a SharePoint consultant here at 6th Street Consulting. My experience is in helping companies with intranet rebranding, internet migrations, building intranets from scratch, and various SharePoint applications. At this point, I'd like to let everyone know that this webinar is being recorded and will be available later this week as an on-demand webcast. If you have any questions during the webinar, please submit them in the GoToWebinar control panel. Thanks. For this demo, I already created a department site in SharePoint Online, and the next step is to populate the site with content and customize it as needed. Here you see the homepage for the department site, and as you can see, there are already a couple of web parts on the page, such as My Tasks, which will show items from the task list that are specifically assigned to me. I have Documents, which will show recently uploaded documents from the document library of this site. I also have upcoming events, which will show items from the calendar list. And then I also have the Newsfeed right here, which is a specific site feed for this department site. Now, the Newsfeed can be useful for any sort of team, project, or collaboration site like a department site to use as a type of informal communication to your team. For example, I can create a post here in the Newsfeed. Select post, and anyone that's following this site will see this specific post appear on their personal newsfeed. So you won't have to navigate to this department site every time you want to see new activity on this newsfeed. If you're following the site, you'll see it on your personal newsfeed in your My Site. The last element on the home page that I want to briefly point out is the quick launch on the left navigation over here. So this left navigation shows a few links, such as the department site homepage right here. We have the calendar link, which will take you to the calendar list. We have Documents, which will take you to the document library. We have Mailbox and Notebook, which are two features that I'll talk about in a few minutes. And then also Tasks to get to the task list. So the first thing I'm going to do now that the site has been built is begin uploading content to the site. And for this demo, I'm just going to populate content for the document library and task list. But I will still walk through other components of the department site to explain in more detail what they are and how they work. So the first thing I want to do is upload documents to the document library, which I typically save on my computer on the desktop. I can get to the document library by clicking on the link on the left navigation over here, or I can also click on the title of the web part called Documents to get to the library. So here you see I am in the document library right now, and I'm going to pull up a folder that I have on my desktop where I store most of my documents. And here you can see in the folder, I also have other levels of folders to help try to organize my documents, which I think most of us are kind of guilty of. So there's a few different ways you can upload documents to a library. I would say the easiest way to do it is to just simply drag and drop documents directly into the library. So to do this, I can just select multiple documents in my folder, drag them to the document library, and then just drop them in there. And then you can see here the status of the upload happening. So now you see that the documents have been uploaded to the library. I'm going to go ahead and open up my other folders that I have here and do the same method of dragging and dropping them directly into the library. If I do want to upload just one single document at a time, or I don't have multiple documents, I can go up to the ribbon toolbar at the top here, click on the Files tab, and click Upload, and select a single item to upload to the library. I can also click the Upload link right here, and it'll give you that same modal window pop-up. So again, I can drag and drop. Keep in mind that I can't actually drop folder items. I can only do documents or files. Now that I've uploaded the documents into the document library, I want to have an easier way to organize my documents in here. So one method that I could go about doing this is create a new folder for the library, like what I had in my desktop. Not sure if I want to do that, because I will say clicking into folders, you don't know where you are, and it's easy to kind of get lost in what you're looking for if you have multiple levels of folders. So I kind of want more of a flat structure to help it make easier to search for those documents. One thing I can do is add a new column to this document library and maybe come up with a few options to categorize my documents, similar to kind of my folder structure, but a little bit more flat. So what I can do is at the ribbon toolbar, go to Library, go to Library Settings right here, and here on the Settings page, I'll scroll down and I can create a new column for my library. Let's say for this one, I do want to create a column called category, and I want it to be a choice column. So I'll select the option here. I can enter a few options. So I can say a few of my documents I know are reports. Some of them are specs. Some are just random documentation. Maybe there's another. Good examples of this, there's a lot of different types of documentation that you have that go along with your project phases. Maybe you have different types of contracts. So this could be a good way to help organize your documents by putting in those options here. I can select the different types of display I might want. So I can either use a drop-down, maybe radio or checkboxes if I want people to select multiple options. For now, drop-down is fine. Click OK. And the column has been added over here. So I'll go back to my document library by clicking on the link on the left navigation, and you'll see that column was added to my library. Now to fill out that field for a specific document, I can do this two different ways. If I want to do it just for one document, I can click on the ellipses here. I'll scroll down. I'll click on the ellipses here. I'll go down to the other ellipses down here and click Edit Properties. And here I can select the category I want for this document. So this is a good method if you just need to edit one document, but since this is a new column I just added and I just uploaded all these documents, I want a way that's easier to edit multiple documents at once. So I can go to what's called Quick Edit mode. So to get to Quick Edit, I can go up to the ribbon toolbar at the top, click on the Library tab, click on the Quick Edit icon, and you'll see the view of the documents down here changes to something that looks very similar to Excel. And it works almost exactly like Excel because I can fill out multiple cells at once. I can do, drag and drop, things like that. So for this category, I can just begin typing in options, or I can select the options right here, like a drop down. You can see that I can click on the bottom right corner of the cell and just drag it down like I would in Excel. And I can begin typing too if I want. Let's say for this one I want to leave it blank. Once I'm done entering all the properties that I want while I'm in Quick Edit mode, I can either click Stop Editing List to save my changes, or I can go back to the regular standard view, which I can do that by going up to the ribbon toolbar and click on the view icon right here, which will switch it back to just the standard mode. Another useful tool that'll help make it easier to search for documents and keep them organized is creating custom views for my library. So here the default view is just all documents. So you see them all right here, no particular order or category. If I want to create a custom view, say maybe I wanted to group them by category, I can go up to the ribbon toolbar and click Create View. Select what I want to start by. I'll go ahead and say just standard view for now. And from the view settings page, I can create my new view and select what columns I want. So for this one, I'll just call it a test view for now. I can select the columns. I want to group it by category, so I'm going to uncheck this column right here. I can scroll down and select what I want to sort the items by. I know I don't want to filter anything yet, but I do want to group the items. So I can click on the group section, click on the drop down, and select category because that's what I want to group it by. And I'll click OK. And you'll see the new view that I just created groups the documents by category, and you can also see how many items are tagged to category. Now the documents have been uploaded to the site, next I want to start populating content for the task list. So to get to the task list, I can click on the link on the left navigation, and here you see I'm on the list. The task list has a view called Timeline View, which is really similar to what you see in Microsoft Project. And once I start creating tasks in the list, I can add those tasks to the Timeline View and kind of show you how they lay out on this timeline right here. So to create a new item in this list, I can click on the New Task link right here, or I can go up to the ribbon toolbar at the top, click on the Tasks tab, and click on the New Item icon, and begin filling out my fields. Since I know I want to create multiple items in this list, it might be a little tedious to have to go in and just create one item at a time. So I'm going to click Cancel, And like what we saw with the document library, there is something called quick edit mode to help me create multiple items in this task list. So to get to quick edit mode, I can click edit this list and it'll change it to look like an Excel spreadsheet again. Or just like we saw in the document library, I can go up to the top at the ribbon toolbar, click on the list tab, and you'll see that quick edit, which is already selected since we're in quick edit mode. So here I can begin typing in the task name. So I'll go ahead and just start creating a couple of tasks. I can assign a due date for whenever I need to. I can assign it to myself. So as I begin typing in a username, it'll start to auto resolve certain options for me. Create a couple more. And maybe I want them all to have the same due date, so I can drag down that cell and it'll autofill for me. And same with the assign to field. So I'm only going to assign 2 of these out of the 3 just so I can show you how that web part that we showed in the beginning on the home page shows just my tasks. So once I'm done editing this in quick edit mode, I can click on stop editing this list. It'll change it back to standard view for me. So now that I've added items to my task list, I can add them to the timeline view if I want. So you can see that create presentation was already added to the timeline, and let's say I wanted to add review brief as well. I can click on the ellipses here and click on add timeline, and you'll see that it adds it to my timeline here. I have the option to display it as a call out, or I can display it as a bar in the timeline, which once I clicked on the item, you could see a display as bar link right here. I'll need to show a start date for that. So let's say the start date is today. And you see that it displays it as a bar, and we still have the call out for create presentation here. Like the document library, if I want to add new columns to the list, I can definitely do that by going up to the ribbon toolbar at the top. I can click on the list tab, click list settings, scroll down, and do create columns right here. You can see with the task list, there's already a variety of columns, so for now I'm not going to add any more columns to this list. I can go back to the list by clicking on tasks. And like the library, if I go up to the list tab at the top, I can create a new view as well. This drop down will show me all the other views that were already created, so I can switch the view if I want. Calendar view to view the tasks in a calendar. I'll go back to all items, which is what we were at before. Now that I've populated content for the documents and tasks, I'll go ahead and briefly explain what the rest of the components are on this site, and I'll show you how to customize the homepage. So on the left, the first thing I want to show you is the notebook. So if I click on the notebook link on the left navigation, you see it's going to open a Onenote Notebook online. And here this is really useful to take notes. If you save your notes in an email, and you got to email it out to the team, sometimes they kind of get lost in translation. This notebook can be shared with anyone in your department site, and it's a good way to keep all the notes centralized in one place. I can go back to the department site by clicking on this link up here. You'll see it'll take me back to the home page. The last thing I want to show you is the site mailbox, which I can click on this link right here to get to. Now the site mailbox is a feature that creates an actual alias or email address for your department site. So people can send emails directly to this site mailbox and it'll appear in this mailbox. So for example, if I were to go to my Outlook and I wanted to create a new email for the to address, I can begin typing in the name of the department site. So right now it's just called department. I can do search for contacts, and it automatically populated department site right here. If I click on the name, you could see that there's an actual email address that's created, and it's because of the site mailbox. So if I wanted to just create a test email for now, send it on over there. I can go back to my department site. I'll go back to the mailbox, and you'll see my test mail right here. So this could be useful if you forget to add certain people on an email thread. Maybe there's a distribution list that hasn't been updated for your project team. You can automatically forward those emails to the site mailbox, or you can just include that address throughout the email thread and a copy will be sent to the site mailbox. So I'm going to go back to the department site, and I can do that by clicking on the link at the top left. And the last thing I want to do is maybe edit my page. And the last thing I'm going to show is how to edit the home page. So right now I have 4 main web parts on here. Let's say I wanted to add another web part. I can go up to the top gray bar up here and click on the Page tab. I can click Edit. And you'll see the page will change into edit mode. And you'll have a few other options up at the top in the ribbon toolbar to format text, insert images or web parts. So for example, if I wanted to add a new web part, I could do so by clicking in one of these web part zones right here. Another mode will pop up, and then I can add another web part. Once I am done editing the page, I can just click Save, and the page will go back into its normal standard view. So here on the home page, before, when we first started, there was no content in the site, so all of these web parts were blank. Now that we have populated the documents and tasks, you can see some of those items right here. For the task list, you only see the 2 items that were specifically assigned to me, and then in the documents, you can see the recent uploaded documents right here. And that concludes today's webinar. I hope you learned something new about SharePoint and how you can leverage SharePoint in your company. Thanks everyone for joining.